It's Rob!
Tony!
And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name, and today we will be playing Warlock 2.5 in this deck guide. I made the deck a little bit different than the 2.0 deck guide because you guys didn't like the Curse of Reform and a couple of other cards that I put in there. I'm not sure why you didn't like them. They work well with the deck, and it allows the deck to do well against, like, for say, Freeze Mage and decks that require you to play cards efficient or at the right time to mess your opponent up. So, like, if they're playing the Fatigue game, they'll have too many cards in your hand. Too many cards in their hand, you can make them overdraw and stuff. But again, that requires a little bit of thinking, and some players don't like that. So, opening hand, Voidwalker Knife Juggler is good. This is basically the standard zoo you're going to see on ladder. There is a little bit of difference in here because it does run, I believe, one Sea Giant and one. It actually does run one Sea Giant and one Enhancer Mechanico with Bran, which can pull off some pretty crazy combos. But besides that, this deck is basically your standard zoo. It's a little bit different than the standard zoo, I suppose. It wouldn't be the standard zoo if it had other cards that didn't make it standard, like Bran and stuff. I don't know if standard zoos have Bran. I guess the standard zoo would have like Wolf Riders and stuff, just the pure charge, the pure cancer. This has like some cancer, but also some good stuff. So I think we can go ahead and Knife Juggler coin into the Flame Imp. It puts out basically as much damage as possible. We're not really scared of the Brawl just yet. On turn 5, we'll probably hold back a bit on what we play. Definitely probably play the Egg before then, so if he does Brawl and the Egg happens to die and another card lives, we actually get a 4/4 out of the deal. But for the most part, Warriors really, they're not that, they don't do well early on in the game. War Axe definitely helps him out, but he's going to have to War Axe this 1/5, or the 1/3, and then he's not going to be able to do much from there. If he attacks into any one of these creatures, his Armor Smith will die, so ideally he wants to go face here.
One shot.
Elven Archer. Okay, just randomly plays Elven Archer in his deck and just randomly happens to be able to kill our Knife Juggler exactly when he needed it to. That's pretty good if you ask me. What? Yes. Sure. Okay, so from there, I think we can... Playing Imp Gang Boss seems okay. And then if we don't kill... Like, if we swing for 3, he's just going to swing this into here, or he can kill her. I think going face is fine, right? Like, what would be... If we kill this, it's going to die to the weapon anyway. We prevent 1 damage. I think we can go ahead and swing face. He can kill off our Imp Gang Boss by not killing this, but that's fine because we're still going to generate 2 1/1s, and then we also still have the 3/2 on the board. So either way, leaving the 1/1 doesn't particularly matter in this situation. Unless he has like a whirlwind effect, then that's bad. So is the... What the hell? Oh, he's going to execute that. Okay. Well, I didn't see the execute coming, so... Yeah, that's pretty good if I would say. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to Knife Juggler, we're going to Egg. Ideally, it doesn't hit the 1/3, but it will. Oh, it didn't. And next turn, we can Defender of Argus in between the Egg and the Imp, but the Imp's going to die to the Argus. Or not the Argus, but the Alkalite. And, yeah, so. RIP. Thank you. He's going to draw another card, so he's going to be able to draw 2 cards from this Acolyte of Pain. Him killing off the Knife Juggler is big here because we really don't have anything else besides Doomguard. You know what the hell kind of deck is this guy playing? Has Elven Archer and Noyotron in it. We should not lose this game. But who knows? We can go ahead and play the Defender, and hopefully it doesn't ping the 1/2. It pings the 1/2. Hell yeah. This is not good. He was able to draw 3 cards from that Acolyte of Pain. You can't really ask for anything better than that. I'm assuming a Whirlwind ability, an Inner Rage, some random shit we haven't seen before, because this guy is playing Elven Archer and a Noyotron in his rank 7 Warrior deck. Never before seen before. I think we Doomguard next turn unless we can draw like a really good card, and then we'll Peddler that card and then Doomguard, and hopefully that other card that we draw next turn is less than 2 mana, so then we'll be able to do that. So there's the Whirlwind to draw yet another card, and it doesn't even pop our Egg. Oh god, a Warbot. The plays from this guy, the plays. So I think we're going to swing our 2/2 into his Acolyte so we can just stop drawing cards. Or we could just play the Sea Giant. I don't really see a problem with playing the Sea Giant here. It's a pretty big card for what we have on the board right now, and we swing for 1. So he's going to have to, you know, be able to execute it down if he can deal damage to it, but then that wastes 2 cards, and then he still is going to... Oh, man, it all depends what we draw next turn, too. The longer we wait to play Doomguard, it's burst damage, so I guess we don't have to play it right away. Like an 8/8's really scary. 5/7's not particularly that scary. So he's going to get the Enrage off that. Doesn't make it too powerful, though. It's just a 2/2. So our 2/1 can actually deal with it, unless he uses like a Whirlwind effect or a Revenge to be able to kill. All right, so the Battle Rage to draw 2. What the hell is this guy playing? I'm scared he's going to like double Molten Giant, Faceless Manipulator, charge me for like the 20 damage combo. Kill off the 4/4. The Whirlwind effect doesn't hit yet, so we can make the trade with this, which is fun. And then we'll Peddler. Oh, Elven Archer. What the hell? There you go. Elven Archer value, guys. Who would have known? Elven Archer screws us up. Okay, so we can Brand, which is good. We'll go ahead and Peddler to get the 2/1 drops. Mortal Coil is ideal right here. Actually, can we push it? No, we can't. So Mortal Coil is good. And I think the Priest is fine, or the Blood Imp. Or we could Corruption. Either way, if we pick, like, it doesn't matter which card we pick. I think the Priest is a little bit better. We can go ahead and kill off the 1/1, see what we draw. An Abusive. I guess that's good because it's going to trigger twice because of Brand, and we're going to be able to hit for 12, which makes it so next turn we can Doomguard and it puts him into lethal mode. But again, we don't know what he's going to do. He still has that 1 weapon charge. He has a Warbot on the field. He looks pretty scary right now. So ideally, he could kill off the Brand. It kills our 2/1. This dies to the Warbot, and then he can execute the Sea Giant, and he only used 1 mana. So he's going to gain at least 2 armor here. Patrons. What the fuck? Okay. So I'm assuming he left that 1 mana floating for the execute onto our 8/8. He's going to get 3 armor. If he can't get rid of the 8/8, we're good. Please don't have execute. He doesn't, so we're going to be able to win this. So yeah. I was actually kind of worried about that. So there's the Doomguard coming in clutch with that charge. I had no idea what kind of warrior deck this guy's playing. I mean, it somehow almost beat us. If we wouldn't have had the Doomguard in our hand, we would have probably lost the battle late game because we have no way of dealing with Patrons unless we draw into our Hellfire. And the Hellfire is actually in the deck to make sure we're recording. We are. The Hellfire is actually in the deck to make sure that if we're playing another aggro-based deck and we don't draw a good opening hand, that we can kind of deal with their cards, because no one expects a Zoo to play a Hellfire, which is kind of like a curveball. And so that helps it out. It also is pretty good burst damage. So we're playing, is that the same guy, Dakota? I think that is, I don't know. We'll know right away though if he's playing those weird cards. Direwolf, not necessarily the best 2-drop you want to have, and the Imp Gang Boss, not necessarily. It's a really good card, just not like, we need to have a 1 and a 2-drop, like a decent 1 and a 2-drop. So Voidwalker, Flame Imp, Peddler's fine, I guess. Ideally, I almost rather had Peddler into Voidcaller, but the Imp Gang Boss, but can't always get what you want. So it looks like turn 2 is going to be the Peddler, and maybe we can draw into another good 3-drop, but there's our 1-drop. You're turn late there, buddy. Okay, so I think we can, do we Clockwork and then, or do we Mortal Coil? I think we can go ahead and probably, Clockwork is a creature, and we could tap and Flame Imp next turn, so I think Mortal Coil is fine. Mortal Coil is a card you always wish you had and you don't have it, so. So ideally he doesn't play anything here. That's pretty good for us. All right, so now we can Brand, and then following turn we can Hanzo. Or we can double Flame Imp. That seems a little bit better. And now we'll enhance it next turn on 1 more card. Okay. 8 cards in hand, 3 mana. So he hasn't used Coin yet, so he can coin into the Despite, kill off one of the imps.
Do you have the
Ooh, Elise. Okay. So ideally we're gonna want Divine Shields. Divine Shields look pretty good. So Enhanso there it is. This is what we wanted right here. If they all would have gotten that, I would have cried. That'd have been great. How much damage? That'd have been 6, 12. That would have been like 16 damage. But unfortunately, we only did 6, 9, 11. He's going to kill off one of those, puts it at 2. He's going to bash slam the other. Okay, so he's not going to be able to draw from that, which is pretty good. I guess we can go ahead and implosion the 3-2, build up a field, but then we're looking at a brawl next turn. That's bad. I guess we could no, I guess we can we're going to go for it. If he has brawl, he's got it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Please don't have brawl. I didn't expect that to hit for 4, though. That's pretty devastating. I mean, for him, it's devastating. For us, it's still good if he doesn't have brawl, but if he does have brawl, which he always has brawl, Warriors always have brawl, at least he used it on a bunch of 1-1s. So ideally, we want a 3-2 or a 2-2 to live, but they're not going to live. Those are the first ones out of the brawl. All right, so we're going to Bran into our Imp Gang boss, swing for 1, try to get our hand as low as possible. We play the Doomguard, it's just going to get destroyed. I mean, it's not going to get destroyed, but it's going to discard 4 cards, which is definitely going to be the other Doomguard. So hopefully he plays a creature here. We can, you know, not have to discard our other Doomguard. Both Doomguards, it's rough, man. It's rough. But we're probably going to have to do it. We're probably going to have to play Doomguard and then tap. So Belcher, Shield Maiden. What kind of decisions do you got? True Heart. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Ooh, it's actually pretty good for us because we can actually swing into it. Mortal Coil. Yeah, it's pretty good. So we can swing. Mortal Coil. That's pretty good. Can actually tap. Oh, do we really want to tap? No, we'll save it. We'll Defender. They get plus like crazy, and we'll push lethal next turn. Bran is such a great card, guys. It works so well if you can like combo those battle cries with not Doomguard, which you discard 4 cards, or Flame Imp, which you take 6 damage instead of 3. But if you combo it with the Defender, which we run 2 of, the Peddler, the Abusive Sergeants, the there's one more that it works really well with too. It's not. Anyway, you guys get the point. Works really well. So next turn, I doubt he'll probably be able to kill the Bran this turn, maybe. He's going to have 12 HP no matter what, so we're going to have to power Overwhelming before we play Doomguard. So this is automatically 9 damage. He puts him at 5, so the most he can get is 9. He's going to shield block. It's going to put him at 10. That's still not enough, though, for this guy to be able to live. So we're going to go ahead, power Overwhelming, Doomguard, and we'll just go for the face. All right, so there's 2 games in a row. That guy was playing Fatigue Warrior. As we can see, he just couldn't put up with the amount of pressure we were putting down. In the first game, we were playing some weird kind of warrior. And ideally, we can play against like maybe a Druid or like a... Paladin's all right. I don't really like Paladins that much. Like Rogue is a really, really good matchup. Druid's a pretty good matchup. Mages are a pretty good matchup. You just don't want to go against those classes that have heals or a lot of taunts, which priests have a lot of heals and taunts. Warriors have, you know, armor, of course. Another Warlock, so we're assuming he's probably playing Reno or Zoo. If we're playing another Zoo, we're a little bit favored because we've got that Hellfire in there. The Imp Gang boss is, of course, good. So we're actually going to keep the Imp Gang boss because we can coin him out on 2 if we don't have any other decent 2-drops. But we're looking for, there we go. We got a solid 1-drop, solid 2-drop, solid 3-drop, which is perfect. And we have a coin into the 5-drop if it really gets dirty. So for us, he has nothing to play here. Imp Gang boss, I mean, Flame Imp's good for him. We're going to play our Flame Imp, so if he makes the trade into our Imp and doesn't play anything, that's good, but the chances of that happening are very slim. Most likely he's going to go face with that, or he's going to kill it off, and he's going to be able to keep his. I'm not really sure the cards that could do that besides, what, for 2 mana to kill it? I don't know. But it looks like he got a decent start too, needless to say. There's Peddler, okay? So hopefully he makes this trade. We want him to trade. Because he has the, if he goes face, we're probably gonna have to trade anyway, unless we can draw into like, something. Make the trade. So he goes face, so he knows what he's doing. All right, so I think we can go ahead and play our Imp Gang boss here. And if we go face, what would be the worst thing that he does on turn 3 that we'd be scared of? I'm not sure, but it's probably nothing good. So I think we can go ahead and go face as well. We're not scared. We're going to show dominance. Assert dominance. We have a pretty aggressive hand right here. Power Overwhelming, Doomguard, or the Juggler. So if he's able to kill our Flame Imp, okay, that's not too bad. So he's going to make the trade there, which is good on our end. We want him to make trades. All right. So that's pretty good that he did not make that trade on his behalf. So if we... I really don't want to power overwhelming right now. We can egg, and that really doesn't develop anything, though. So if we... This is kind of hard, guys, because... Alright, so we power overwhelming to get rid of Void Caller, and then we Flame Imp into this, and that leaves us with an egg on the board with nothing else. But if we play their Juggler, then he's just going to swing it in with the Dark Peddler. If we play egg, though, we can start making trades decent trades next turn. And we can't use our overwhelming right now either. We have to save our overwhelming for our egg. So next turn it looks like maybe we can draw a 1-drop, Knife Juggler, power overwhelming, end of the turn. It pops, our Knife Juggler hits as well. Also, we get Implosion, that's really good in this matchup as well. So we got to kill off his Knife Juggler. That Direwolf also has to die. So we're going to, okay, so we're going to power overwhelming. Oh, ouch, that sucks. So we're going to power overwhelming our egg to kill his Juggler. All right. So it's our Juggler, power overwhelming, kills that. This pops and hits, doesn't really matter. Probably face would be best. That egg is bad. So now on his behalf, he can actually swing the egg and the 3-2 into, actually he can just swing, I don't know what he's gonna do here, but either way, he's got good trades he can make here. We're definitely down in health, and us not being able to draw into it, like Implosion and him getting the Knife Juggler and the Direwolf when he needed to is pretty essential. Next turn, probably the Doom Guard. I doubt these two creatures will live. If he goes face here, that's really, oh god, the power overwhelming to kill our 4/4. That's pretty big. And then probably his Direwolf. Nah, he'll swing his Peddler into our, yeah, okay. So probably swing his Direwolf or his 3-2 into our Juggler, but probably his 3-2 because his Direwolf can buff other things as his Peddler cannot. His Direwolf is actually better to keep because, you know, it's the 2-2 and the Dark Peddler is a 2-2. This card just looks like it's a worse trade right now, so he's going to go face, swing Direwolf to Knife Juggler? What are you doing here, buddy? He's going to Iron, okay. He's going to Iron Beak. Well, puts us in a bit of a situation. Alright, well Doomguard has to go down. We've got to kill that Direwolf, and we have to kill that Spider. So again, if he has like any sort of direct damage, we pretty much lost. We're looking for, in this situation now, we're looking for our Defender of Arguses, our Void Callers, Implosion is good at no matter what. We're just too low at this point. Like, it's all about that field control, and he's been able to maintain it the past 2 or 3 turns. And Gang Boss is good on his behalf. Haunted Creeper is especially good because it's hard to remove. Abusive Sergeant's the absolute best card you could have had to make this trade. So even if we Hellfire, it doesn't matter. So how much damage does he have? 4, 5, 6, 7? So unless this is a Void Caller. Yeah. Well, we can kill this to draw a card. So I suppose if we actually live an extra turn that way. But the game's over no matter what. So we're going to have to go into our redemption game, boys. Didn't pan out the way we wanted it to. He had a better early game with us. That Direwolf set on the field, was able to give everything that +1. Couldn't do much, guys. Couldn't do much. Implosion probably would have made a huge difference because we were able to kill a card, maybe summon 2 imps, 3 imps. There's a Druid, so this isn't a terrible matchup as long as he doesn't draw into his taunts and his ramp super early on. And with hands like this, it doesn't look good for us either. Okay, so we're looking for, again, our 1 and 2 drops, our solid 1 drops, our solid 2 drops. Again, this is not exactly what we're looking for here. This is Flame Imp off the top. No, it's not. So he could coin into passive. We play the abusive. I guess he's going to have to do that. If he doesn't, then that's okay, because it's able to do the 2 damage into him. Haunted Creeper on turn 2. He plays... Okay, so he actually didn't do anything. Okay, so Knife Juggler looks like it's the card to play. Off the top, swing for 2. If he passives here and does nothing, that's pretty good for us as well. But he most likely is going to play the Ass Pirate. Okay, that's fine. Coin into Living Roots to kill the Knife Juggler? Or he just coined for... Okay. Did he make 2 1/1s? Was that the mistake? He did. Okay, so that was a bit of a mistake there on his behalf. Okay, so we can play... We'll go ahead and play the Haunted Creeper first before we do anything. See what the Knife Juggler pings. That's a good ping, so we're actually going to go ahead and make this trade. And then we're going to Abusive Sergeant the Knife Juggler. Hopefully it pings another 1/1. It does, and then we're going to swing directly for 5. So now we know he can make the trades into his Groots and his passive into the Juggler, but he actually floats 1 mana, and it's not that bad for us. Then next turn we're going to be able to Enhanso. Hopefully it gives these Divine Shield or Wind Fury, and then we've got the Doom Guard on 5. Okay, so we're going to hopefully these guys give him Wind Fury. One has Wind Fury, and the other has Divine Shield, which is perfect. That's fine with me. Because it's a little bit stickier. This guy actually does 2 damage now. This guy's going to have to take 2 damage. He's going to be able to silence this. Okay, so he's going to use his 4-drop on a silence. We're going to be able to Defender of Argus, probably... We'll Defender of Argus these guys, and we'll continue to go face. And then we have got the Doom Guard for the explosive damage next turn. And he's not going to be able to get around this guy because he's got the Divine Shield, which means he's going to have to attack into it, not do much, or use his passive and take damage. Yeah, he's going to develop and kill, probably take off the Divine Shield here, and that's just not enough in this situation. We were able to get off a pretty decent start. The Knife Juggler off the top definitely helped, and him not killing it with the Living Roots because he was playing too fast was definitely a good indication that he made a mistake there. So I believe that wraps up our Zoo 2.5 deck guide. Hopefully you enjoyed this a little bit better than the last one we posted. Not that the other one wasn't good, it was just a different style of Zoo. It was more of a control. You kind of have to think ahead, and I think that deck actually may work a little bit better than this deck at the moment, just because there's a lot of Freeze Mage on ladder. It all depends what you're going against, because you can have renditions of Zoo and play different kinds of Zoo depending on the decks that you're playing. So like the deck right now that we're playing is really good against control-based decks that actually it's really good against, I would say, it has a fair chance against all decks because of how fast it is and it can keep the sustain. But the other deck has really strong early game creatures with the potential to last into late game because of the Curse of Rafaam. You're able to combo that with Loatheb, and it's just really powerful. You're able to do quite a bit of damage over the course of a couple turns if your opponent can't get rid of the cards. Anyway, we'll go into the deck list here and talk about any cards that I see that I believe need to be talked about. But for the most part, as we've seen in the past couple games, most of the cards can be pretty much self-explanatory. The Power Overwhelmings are a staple. The Abusive Sergeants, of course. Any card with Battle Cry in this deck, remember, combos with Brand, which means you're able to, it triggers twice. So instead of Abusive Sergeant only doing +2 attack, it does +4. Your Dark Peddler gives you 2 cards. There's one more card that comboed really well with it. Enhanso Mechanical. That is the card I was trying to think of and I couldn't before. I mentioned every other card in the deck besides this. So you have Brand and you Enhanso. That means that it triggers twice, which means there's a double chance of you getting, Divine Shield, Wind Fury, or Taunt. And Taunt's normally not the one you want to look for. You're looking for Divine Shield and Wind Fury to make trades and or to deal a lot of damage over the course of, one turn. So just make sure you can remember your battle cries, use Brand at the right time. I mean, if you have no other 3-drop in your hand, don't just sit there and hold them until you can play the other battle cries, depending on the game situation. Every game is different, so sometimes if you have nothing else, he's a decent 3-drop and maybe can live a turn depending on what your opponent, is playing and what they've used thus far. But for the most part, do your best to combo him with the battle cries. If you notice, there's Gormok the Impaler is also found in this deck sometimes, so if you want to replace, if you don't have a specific card like Sea Giant or Loatheb or a Doom Guard, just go ahead and throw a Gormok in there, or if you don't have another Direwolf and then you need to replace a card, throw in another Direwolf. The Hellfire, I've mentioned why it's good against other aggro decks. If you don't get the good opener, if we would have had this against the other Warlock, we would have won because we would have been able to wipe his field and then pretty much restart the game under field control, but can't always get what you want when you need it. From there's pretty much nothing out of the ordinary with this deck. The double Defender of Argus works extremely well with Brand, so if you can line that up, it's good. Also, a good time to Defender is if you've got it's turn 4, right? And you have the option to Implosion, like a 2/2 or something, or summon Defender in between 2 of your cards. If you got 2 cards for Defender to hit and it's turn 4, play Defender. Defender is great in it. You can make a lot of value trades, and it forces your opponent to not go face if you're playing against another aggro player. The Doom Guard, don't necessarily have to play it right away just to get the 5/7 body on board to deal 5 damage. He's really good if you're looking to do the burst damage to push lethal, but as a body on the board, discarding 2 cards could be problematic if those are the cards that you need to be able to sustain the amount of field control and damage you're doing over a course of however many turns that you plan to do that until you push lethal. So just be careful when you play the Doom Guard. The Loatheb's always good to finish the game off because it forces your opponent not to be able to cast spells the following turn. So if it's going on turn 7 against a mage, you can always assume Flame Strike somewhere nearby. So playing Loatheb at a really good time is really nice, along with the fact that if you're going against, like, let's say a Freeze Mage, using them again at the right time can definitely save your ass. And the Sea Giant's a little interesting. This guy actually works really well with the Implosion, or, you know, if you summon a lot of cards from Haunted Creeper or your Peddler. So just keep in mind that for every card on the field or every other minion on the board, this guy costs 1. So essentially, if both players, you know, have 5 cards on the board, he's free, which may seem like it's a lot of cards on the board, but if you're going against another fast-paced deck that, you know, summons, you know, 3 or 4 creatures, can summon 3 or 4 creatures in one turn, you could basically summon this guy for anywhere between 1 to 3 mana, and an 8/8 for 1 to 3 mana against another aggro deck is pretty big, considering they have no BGH and, you know, good field removal for big cards like this that early on in the game, or for that that low of mana when you can go ahead and play other cards too. So with that, that wraps up our deck guide. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Comments, concerns, and all that good stuff, you can leave them in the comments section. Wow, that came out really weird. You can leave your comments, questions, or concerns in the comments section below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can if you have any specific issues. And with that, guys, always glad to have you here at the end. I'm Warshack, of course, and happy whatever the hell day it is.